Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Red Mist podcast with me, Seshadri, and welcome to the final match reaction from the Premier League season 2020-2021. It is finally done in the books. Manchester City are champions, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the fact that Liverpool qualified for the Champions League. Yes, we did. And it's been unbelievable to do it on the final day in a season with so many injuries, with so many things that have gone wrong for us. Out of form players, some stuff that the manager could have done better. But I mean, ultimately, in the end, and it is the hallmark of big teams, of teams that fight for what they really want, teams that fight for titles. In fact, they come through in the end. And Liverpool did come through. 2-0 win against Crystal Palace. Roy Hodgson as well. Last game for him. It is, I can't lie. It is absolutely brilliant to have qualified for the Champions League. A good, solid win for Liverpool. 2-0 in front of fans. And it was so good to have fans at the stadium. I can't lie. Like hearing You'll Never Walk Alone being belted out in full force by 10,000 fans. Because remember, the last time we had fans at Anfield was, I think, I want to say around December, around the Fulham game, because I think Fulham had fans and we had fans for a couple of weeks after that. But it was really nice to have fans there. 10,000 fans, obviously not the full capacity of Anfield, but definitely a substantial number. In fact, that number is enough to fill out League One stadiums across the country. So obviously, brilliant news for Liverpool, for Liverpool fans. Hopefully next season we can see more numbers being allowed into the stadium with appropriate measures being taken for safety. And so good, like I was saying, to hear them sing You'll Never Walk Alone, to singing the Mo Salah song. The Bobby Firmino song was the first one I heard on TV, I think, and it's been such a long time. It gives such goosebumps, it gives such good feelings. Just hearing the woos and the ahs for the close misses in the first half, just hearing the roars for the goals. I mean, it was just an all-round good feeling to have fans inside the stadium, and I'm sure everyone agrees. I'm sure Liverpool fans will agree with those watching on TV like me. I'm sure Klopp agrees. I'm sure the players agree. It was brilliant to have fans back in the stadium. But ultimately, what mattered was the performance on the pitch. It would have accounted for nothing having 10,000 fans if we did not perform on the pitch. And honestly, the boys played their hearts out. I don't know whether it was the fact that the fans were there. Maybe that galvanized them a little bit, and I think it did. I think it did have a part to play, because you can't do this thing of playing in front of empty stadiums on full energy all the time. Whereas if you have sort of that little boost of having a crowd behind you, it matters a huge deal. But I thought brilliant performance from the lads. Sadio Mane especially, unbelievable performance from him. I think the fact, I don't know if it was the crowds, but he definitely, I think, had his best game in the last couple of months. Managed to get on the score sheet twice as well. 2-0 win for Liverpool against Crystal Palace. Roy Hodgson in his last game as a Crystal Palace manager, former Liverpool manager. It was nice to see him get a warm reception at Anfield. He's done a lot for the game. Yes, his time at Liverpool was not the best, and that's understating it, because I think at one point we were flirting with relegation. So it's understating that. But definitely, I think Roy Hodgson deserved a good farewell, because he's done a lot for the game. He's done a lot for clubs like Inter Milan, Crystal Palace as well. He's got them into a solid mid-table position every year, and I think he deserves a good send-off. And it'll be interesting to see who Palace appoint after this. I think Frank Lampard's been sort of linked to the job. Maybe he will get it, maybe he won't. I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see who Palace appoint. But coming back to the game, I thought we played really well. Trent Alexander-Arnold, I think he made a mistake early, one glaring mistake, I would say. When his thing sort of led to Andros Townsend going through on goal. But I think overall, Trent was on fire this game. Wijnaldum, of course, captaining the side, his final game for Liverpool as of now. He's still saying he's not got a contract offer. He's still saying anything can happen, but I think it's more likely than ever right now that Wijnaldum is leaving. If this is his farewell game, then this was a really good display to end it off. As captain, ending it on a high, I think he's deserved it. Yes, Wijnaldum, I have criticised him this season, and yes, let's be real. His performance a lot of this season, was under sort of, he was underperforming. That's what I mean. But there's no denying that he's been one of the linchpins around which this whole Klopp era has been built. We signed him from Newcastle after they got relegated. He's been a key midfielder for us. Gini Wijnaldum, the Barca comeback will always be, I think, etched in the memories of Liverpool fans who were there to watch it at Anfield, who were watching it on TV like me. I mean, it's unbelievable. Like, you just cannot think of that comeback against Barcelona and not think of Gini Wijnaldum. So he's done a lot for the club, and he deserves a proper send-off as well. Wherever he goes, if he is going somewhere else, whether it's Bayern Munich, whether it's Barcelona, whether it's somewhere else that we don't know of just yet, wherever he goes, I wish him nothing but the best. And I think, I think every Liverpool fan does wish him nothing but the best. Yes, he's underperformed this year, but I'm sure whichever club gets him, he will do really well for them. They're getting a really good midfielder as well. Now, coming to the goals itself, I mean, I don't think I'm going to talk too much about the goals, because I think the first one was a scrappy one. I mean, I don't even think I'm going to talk too much about the game. I know I said this is a match reaction, but I don't think I'm going to talk too much about the game, because I think I'm just going to reflect a little bit on the season. Obviously, there's a bigger sort of episode reflecting on the season coming up later on. But I am going to, just talk about this a little bit. I mean, the season we've had, I think, I remember saying, I think around December or maybe November, I'm getting my timelines a little bit mixed up, but I remember saying around that time that if we as a club went to the quarterfinals, or maybe it was January, because I think this was around the time when the front three were not on form. So I remember saying, if we got to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, if we beat Leipzig and got to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, and if we finished in the top four, I would take that, because the injuries that we've had, it's unbelievable. And I was reading a stat, I think this was on commentary, this stat, but today's partnership of Nat Phillips and Reece Williams is only the second centre-back partnership to reach 6 games this season. Every other centre-back partnership that we've had, aside from one other one, I think it was Fabinho and Nat Phillips, I want to say. I think that's the only one which reached 6 games. We've had so much of chopping and changing, so many injuries, just bad luck, bad decisions with the AR. And we've come through it, and I think that's the mark of a resilient team. I think last season, at the start of this season, I asked, I think it was Ben was on my podcast, Ben Harris. At the start of the season, I asked him what he would remember last season's title winning team by, if I had to ask him to describe it in one word. And I think one of the things, I don't remember the exact word that he said, but I think the theme of it was resilience. I think the fact that they fought back, I think that's the sort of spirit of this team. And again, this season just proves that. Like, it would have been very easy to just pack it in and say, you know what, this season's a wash. Let's just qualify for Europa, play some Bulgarian farmers next year, and get back into the Champions League the year after that. Like, it would have been very easy to pack it in and say that. But the fact that we didn't, the fact that we kept fighting, and the fact that the last few weeks, ever since I think the March international break, aside from the Real Madrid games, ever since that time, I think our form's just been so good that it's hard not to see this team fully fit challenging Man City again next year. Like, it's very hard not to see that. And the resilience of this team is what sticks out to me this season. And let's be real, I've criticized Jurgen Klopp for a lot of things, I can't lie. I have criticized the players, and look, at the end of the day, they all deserved their criticism. It's not like there wasn't blame to be passed on, but a lot of it was due to circumstance as well. So, and I'm not going to hold it against them next year. I'm not going to sit here and call for Klopp's head, or sit here and call for this player to go out or that player to go out. Yes, there are some players who need to be sold. Let's be real about it. But what I will say is, this team, like, next season, I'm filled with optimism just based off of what I've seen these last couple of months. and this team is going to fight for titles, and I truly believe that. And this season we may not have been in the picture because of injuries. It was the same with City last year when they had Laporte out, for example. But I'm sure, I think next year is the year when a fully fit City and a fully fit Liverpool will go at it again. A rejuvenated Liverpool, City's fresh off of winning a title, they will go at it again. Just like they did in 2018-19 when we lost the title by 1 point. We got 97 and they got 98. This will happen again. And I can't wait for that. I honestly cannot wait for that. But proper send-off for Gini Wijnaldum. Good performances from the team. Really nothing much to be critical of. Nat Phillips, as usual, getting into some headbanging with Fabinho. Reece Williams as well, getting some headbanging. It was a good season for them, and credit to Phillips and Reece Williams. I mean, I will be honest, they're not going to be first choice at Liverpool ever, I don't think. But they've done enough for me to say, okay, there's some potential there for them to be fourth choice. Like Reece Williams can be fifth choice, Nat Phillips can be fourth choice. The off-season holds a lot of questions. The summer holds a lot of questions. But I think there is reason to be optimistic. Especially, I think the emergence of Nat Phillips this year, it's been a blessing, and it's been a blessing, honestly. But yeah, I think there'll be a more detailed sort of season review coming up. Hopefully, I can do it with a guest. But I think, we'll have to see how that goes. But next few days there'll be a few more episodes, and then I've got a big announcement to make. I think I'm going to make that sometime before the Champions League final between Chelsea and Man City. There'll be a big announcement, and there'll be a few more episodes before we close it out for season 1. And there will of course be a thank you message to all my listeners. It's been a pleasure. It's been unbelievable to listen to all of this, to do all of these episodes, and I am genuinely just excited for what's coming up next. But that is going to do it from me. For Liverpool 2, Crystal Palace 0. I'm sorry there wasn't much of the actual game itself, because I think the emotions of it were more than just the game itself, just about the game. But we set out, just to summarize, we set out to get Champions League qualification. We got Champions League qualification, 2-0 win, Sadio Mane with a brace, fans back at Anfield, happy days, and that's that. But wherever you are, stay safe, stay happy. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. Hopefully you guys are having a fantastic week, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.